In the intense red sands of Algeria, near the Sahara, lies the most exemplary Roman veteran colony that exists today. It was an entire city, built specifically for veteran soldiers, giving us incredible insight into what these colonies look like and the lifestyle of the veterans living there. So, how did Rome treat its veterans, and what rewards were they given after their military service ended? Timgad is the best preserved Roman colony, thanks to its near-perfect grid layout, a hallmark of Roman urban planning. It's orderly, structured, and standardized. Emperor Trajan founded Timgad in 100 AD. He was the ruler who extended the Roman Empire to its largest size. Trajan is most recognized for his military campaigns in Dacia, present-day Romania, and his conflicts with the Parthians, Rome's eastern rivals. As a soldier himself, he understood the importance of rewarding veterans for their service to the empire. I'll expand on that later. But first, let's get oriented with the site. The city had a clearly defined square boundary, with 3 gates and 2 main roads. The Decumanus ran east-west, and the Carta ran north-south, which was standard in many Roman cities. However, in Timgad, the Carta ended at the Forum, where the 2 streets intersect. Every Roman city had a forum, the public square, and usually a theatre too. So this central area was the public hub. At the western gate stands the Arch of Trajan, a classic Roman triumphal arch. You can really see how Timgad was modeled after Rome. The dimensions are 380 by 330 meters. Walking from the arch, you could cross the town in under 5 minutes, so it wasn't very large. But if you look on Google Earth, you'll notice the town expanded beyond its original borders once the central square filled up. In the southwest corner, there's a large temple complex dedicated to Jupiter, Juno, and Minerva. For such a small city, it was a sizable temple complex, symbolizing Timgad's allegiance to the Roman state religion and authority. The city also had several bathhouses, and even a library, showing that learning and culture were valued, even on the empire's frontier. Timgad had all the features of a typical Roman city. The library was identified with an inscription, and is one of only 2 Roman libraries known to survive, the other being in Ephesus. Another colony, founded by Trajan, was Colonia Ulpia Trajana in Germany, which followed a similar pattern with a square layout and grid streets. Though it's not as well preserved as Timgad, this design was based on military camps called castra, but the colonies were much larger, more urban. This colony, located in Germany, eventually became the city of Cologne. Now you know where that name originated. Rome started establishing colonies as it expanded in Italy during the early Republic. It was a way to settle Roman citizens in newly conquered lands. Today, many Italian cities still reflect the Roman grid pattern of the colonies they once were. Examples include Florence, Bologna, Parma, and Cremona, which were all frontier towns when founded. The grid pattern isn't a modern concept, but an ancient one. The first colony outside Italy was Italica, in modern-day Spain, founded during the Second Punic War. Italica's name wasn't by chance. It was meant to be a little piece of Italy abroad. You can see the grid pattern there too. Interestingly, Italica was Trajan's and Hadrian's hometowns, so Trajan himself came from a colony. During the imperial period, settling veterans in colonies became more common, as military service had become a full career. These veterans needed to be provided for. It was a strategic move for Rome, maintaining a Roman presence in frontier areas, reminding the locals who was in charge, and rewarding veterans all at once. Trajan founded Timgad for veterans of the 3rd Augustan Legion. Not the whole legion was retiring at once, just the older soldiers. A Roman legion had up to 6,000 troops. If you were a Roman citizen, you were in the heavy infantry, known as legionnaires. If you weren't a citizen, you likely came from the provinces and were placed in auxiliary units, which specialized in archery, cavalry, and light infantry. These auxiliaries supported the heavy infantry. Recruits signed up for 25 years, and it was a tough and dangerous life. Your chances of surviving those 25 years weren't high, but if you did make it, and were fortunate enough to retire, this is what you got: full Roman citizenship for you and your family, if you weren't already a citizen. Being a Roman citizen was highly coveted, and military service was a great way to achieve it. Of course, they didn't have passports, but you received a Roman military diploma, a bronze document stating you were honorably discharged and granted citizenship by the emperor. In Timgad, you got a plot of land outside the town to farm. Though the land may not look ideal now, North Africa was once much greener and more fertile. You also received a plot within the town, where you could build a house, so they were likely apartment buildings, called insulae. Each insula probably housed multiple families, suggesting several veterans pooled resources to build one, then shared it. The equal lot sizes point to a relatively egalitarian community, where everyone was about the same. Given the town's small size and the veterans' shared military experiences, it was probably a close-knit community. If you didn't want to farm, you could take a cash payment instead, which could be used to start a small business. Veterans were also exempt from some taxes, making military service a potential path to social mobility, especially for those from lower classes. These mosaics found in Timgad, like this one of Neptune from the 3rd century, show the city's rich urban life. By then, it had grown beyond a veteran colony into a proper town. Many families prospered through agriculture and commerce, and economic growth spurred population growth. reaching an estimated 15,000. But this idyllic life didn't last. Compared to other Roman cities, Timgad's life was relatively brief. In the 5th century, the Vandals, a Germanic tribe, invaded the empire, sweeping through Iberia and North Africa, where they established a Vandal kingdom with Carthage as its capital. In 455, they sailed to Rome and sacked the city, though Rome had been sacked by the Goths in 410. The Vandal sack was longer and more destructive. Over 2 weeks, they looted Rome, taking valuable treasures, including spoils from the Jewish temple in Jerusalem, which had been in Rome for nearly 4 centuries. If you enjoyed exploring these fascinating aspects of Roman history, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more engaging historical content. Be sure to share it with fellow history enthusiasts and leave a comment below. What part of Timgad's history did you find most intriguing?